Welcome to This Explainer. Have you ever sat in a buzzing, high-end restaurant and just marveled at how everything seems to run like absolute clockwork? The food arrives piping hot, the drinks are perfectly timed, and the staff just seems to glide across the floor. Now, you might think the secret sauce to a flawless dining experience is purely the culinary genius of the chef, right? But actually, the true foundation of an incredible service is a highly structured, purposive communication system. Over the next few minutes, we're going to dissect the communication framework taught in top-tier culinary programs to see exactly how kitchen and dining room teams use words, signals, and protocols to survive the absolute chaos of a dinner rush. So, let's start with a provocative question. What actually causes the most failures in a professional kitchen? I want you to really think about it for a second. Is it burnt food? Maybe a delayed delivery of fresh vegetables? Actually, no. The main culprit behind a ruined dining experience is missed signals and communication breakdowns. A waiter forgets to mention a guest's allergy, or a chef mishears an order modification. These tiny fractures in communication compound so rapidly under the immense time pressure of a busy service. And before you know it, you've got wrong orders, massive food waste, and ultimately, really unhappy guests. Okay, let's dive into this. When we talk about the communication process in a culinary setting, we aren't just talking about casually chatting. We are talking about the active, intentional sharing of clear, accurate meaning between a sender and a receiver. It's not just about talking loudly to be heard over a sizzling pan. It's about making sure the exact intent of the message survives the total chaos of the environment. In a restaurant setting, if the meaning isn't perfectly shared, the entire system just collapses. It's a highly purposive form of communication where every single word must have a distinct job. To understand how this works in practice, let's walk through the fundamental communication loop. Picture a bustling dining room. The guest is the sender, and they have a specific craving. That's our message. They speak this order out loud to the server, which serves as the channel. The server, acting as the receiver, hears this order. But here is the absolutely crucial part, step 5, feedback. A great server doesn't just nod and walk away, right? They practice active listening and repeat the order back to the guest to confirm it. That simple active feedback closes the loop and is your very first line of defense against a ruined meal. But of course, completing that loop isn't always easy because of what communication models call noise. Now, in everyday conversation, noise might just be a minor distraction. But in a restaurant setting, noise is literal. We are talking about clanging pots, roaring exhaust hoods, multiple people shouting orders at once, and the intense psychological time pressure of getting plates out in under 15 minutes. All of these factors act as massive barriers that can instantly derail an order. Overcoming this kind of noise requires incredible discipline. Which brings us to our first major operational zone, the front of house, which is all about customer service. Look at the comparison we have here. On the left, we've got a super vague description, mystery adobo. Well, it sounds intriguing, sure, but in the culinary industry, ambiguity is downright dangerous. On the right, we have an accurate menu description detailing the main ingredients, the exact cooking method, and crucial allergen warnings. Providing an honest, highly accurate description isn't just a sales tactic. It highlights the ethics of communication. It protects guests with severe allergies and ensures that their expectations perfectly align with what the kitchen is actually going to deliver. Next up, we move to the critical junction where the calm dining room meets the fiery kitchen, the bridge, or expediting. This bridge is controlled through a process called expediting. Expediting is essentially the art of coordinating and communicating orders to ensure timely, correct plating and service. The person in this role, the expediter, acts as the ultimate translator. They take the customer's very specific wishes relayed by the server and translate them into standardized culinary terminology for the chefs. They literally control the pace, calling out exactly when to fire or start cooking specific dishes so that an entire table's food finishes at the exact same second. It is high-stakes traffic control, where absolutely nothing can get lost in translation. And that plunges us straight into the heat of the back of house, where kitchen teamwork is paramount. If the dining room is all about interpersonal warmth, the kitchen is about military-level precision. And to achieve that, the team relies heavily on the pre-shift briefing. Think of this like a sports huddle before a championship game. Before the very first guest even walks through those doors, the entire team gathers to align. They review the daily specials, they note any VIP reservations, and they clarify individual team tasks. This short, intensive meeting ensures everyone shares the exact same reality before the real chaos begins. During that briefing, or even in the middle of a rush, you might hear a phrase like this blasted out: 86 adobo. Understanding what this jargon actually means is completely crucial. In a kitchen, 86 means you're completely sold out of an item. By using this short, standardized term, a chef conveys a massive amount of instruction instantly. Everyone in the room immediately knows to stop cooking it, the expeditor knows to stop calling for it, and the servers know they can no longer offer it to guests. Standardized terminology ensures every single team member gets the exact same instruction without needing a lengthy, drawn-out explanation. And this brilliantly illustrates another critical piece of kitchen communication: safety calls. When you're moving rapidly through a tight kitchen with a blazing hot pan or a sharp knife, you simply do not have time for a full, polite sentence. Shouting a simple, sharp "behind" or using specific hand signals keeps the team entirely coordinated and safe without slowing down the momentum of the service. It's a perfect blend of verbal and nonverbal cues operating flawlessly under extreme pressure. But hey, things inevitably break down sometimes. So let's look at how to handle complaints using the LAST method. Even with perfect systems in place, an order gets dropped or a steak comes out undercooked. Suddenly you're faced with a highly difficult, frustrated guest. How you communicate in this high-tension moment is critical. That's exactly where the LAST method comes in as the ultimate de-escalation tool. First, listen actively without interrupting. Next, apologize sincerely for the gap between their expectation and their experience. Third, solve the problem quickly by coordinating with that time-pressured kitchen we just talked about. And finally, thank the guest for bringing it to your attention. This structured, polite recovery process is remarkably effective. It actually builds trust, often turning a very unhappy guest into a fiercely loyal returning one. Finally, it's vital to note that the communication doesn't just stop when the last guest leaves and the doors are locked. The day always ends with a post-shift debriefing. This is where the team comes together to honestly review what went perfectly and what, well, completely fell apart. By communicating openly about the failures of the night, the team figures out exactly how to improve the system for tomorrow. It is a continuous, vital loop of feedback and refinement. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought for you to consider. How can these high-pressure communication skills apply to your own workplace? Whether you work in a corporate office, a fast-paced hospital, or a retail store, you're definitely dealing with your own versions of noise, your own front-of-house clients, and your own need for expediting. Mastering clear, purposive communication, standardizing your team's terminology, and utilizing tools like the LAST method for conflict resolution are incredible survival tools in literally any profession. Because at the end of the day, success in any field isn't just about the hard work you do, it's about how clearly you communicate it. Thanks for joining.